Video 21, Part 4C of 25, Outputs from the Collect Requirements process. The purpose of this video is to develop a WBS to present the deliverables from the Collect Requirements process. The Collect Requirements process is the second process in the Project Scope Management knowledge area and is related to the Planning Process group. Please click the like button. Subscribe to my channel and share with others. Thank you. The first output from the Collect Requirements process is the requirements documentation. Now one question arises: how important is the requirements documentation? The requirements documentation output from the Collect Requirements process is critically important in project management, particularly in the planning phase. Key importance of requirements documentation. 1. Foundation for project scope. The requirements documentation defines what needs to be delivered, ensuring all stakeholders have a shared understanding. The requirements documentation forms the basis for the project scope statement and work breakdown structure. 2. Prevents miscommunication and scope creep. Clearly documented requirements reduce ambiguity and disagreements later. The requirements documentation helps avoid costly changes by ensuring everyone agrees on deliverables up front. 3. Guides design, development, and testing. The requirements documentation serves as a reference for teams, including developers, engineers, and testers, to ensure the solution meets business needs. The requirements documentation is used to create test cases and acceptance criteria. 4. Supports stakeholder alignment. The requirements documentation ensures all stakeholders, including clients, users, and team members, are on the same page. The requirements documentation is used to validate expectations before execution begins. 5. Legal and contractual protection. The requirements documentation acts as a formal agreement between the project team and stakeholders. The requirements documentation can be referenced in case of disputes over deliverables. 6. Basis for change control. Any future changes are evaluated against documented requirements to assess impact. How can a poor requirements documentation produced harm the requirements gathering process? Poor requirements documentation can severely undermine the entire requirements gathering process, leading to cascading failures across the project. Here's how it causes harm. 1. Misalignment and confusion among stakeholders. Ambiguous or vague requirements lead to different interpretations by developers, testers, and business teams. As a result, we may have stakeholders argue over expectations, delaying approvals and causing rework. 2. Incomplete or missing requirements. If critical needs are overlooked, such as security, compliance, or user experience, the final product may fail. As a result, we may have costly last-minute changes or regulatory violations. 3. Scope creep and uncontrolled changes. Poor documentation lacks clear boundaries, allowing stakeholders to keep adding small requests. As a result, we may have budget and timeline overruns due to unplanned work. 4. Wasted effort and rework. Development teams build the wrong solution due to unclear specs. As a result, we may have demoralized teams, wasted time, and increased costs. 5. Poor traceability and unverified requirements. If requirements aren't linked to business objectives, it's hard to justify their importance. As a result, we may have difficulty in managing changes or defending project decisions. 6. Failed testing and quality issues. Test cases depend on well-documented requirements. If they're unclear, testing is ineffective. As a result, we may have performance failures in production. 7. Stakeholder distrust and project failure. If the delivered product doesn't match expectations, stakeholders lose faith in the team. As a result, we may have damaged reputation, legal disputes, or project cancellation. In conclusion, requirements documentation is one of the most crucial outputs in project management. A well-documented set of requirements ensures project success, minimizes risks, and aligns all parties involved. Neglecting it can lead to costly failures, making it a non-negotiable part of the collect requirements process. As a final message, poor requirements documentation doesn't just harm the gathering process, it derails the entire project. Investing time in clear, structured, and validated requirements saves cost, time, and frustration later. The second output from the collect requirements process is the requirements traceability matrix. Now one question arises. How important is the requirements traceability matrix output from the collect requirements process? The requirements traceability matrix is a critical output of the collect requirements process in project management, particularly in predictive methodologies but also valuable in adaptive approaches. Its importance lies in ensuring that all requirements are tracked, validated, and aligned with project objectives throughout the project lifecycle. Key reasons why RTM is important. 1. Ensures requirement coverage. The requirements traceability matrix links each requirement to its source, whether stakeholder needs, business case, or regulations, and tracks them through design, development, testing, and delivery. The requirements traceability matrix prevents missing or overlooked requirements, reducing scope gaps. 2. Supports scope management and change control. The requirements traceability matrix helps track the impact of changes. If a requirement changes, the requirements traceability matrix shows which deliverables, test cases, or features are affected. The requirements traceability matrix prevents scope creep by ensuring only approved requirements are implemented. 3. Improves quality and testing alignment. The requirements traceability matrix ensures that test cases are mapped back to requirements, confirming that all are validated. The requirements traceability matrix helps in user acceptance testing by verifying that deliverables meet stakeholder expectations. 4. Enhances stakeholder communication. The requirements traceability matrix provides transparency by showing how each requirement is addressed. The requirements traceability matrix reduces disputes by maintaining a clear audit trail of decisions. 5. Compliance and regulatory benefits. The requirements traceability matrix is critical in highly regulated industries, such as healthcare, finance, and aerospace, where proving requirement fulfillment is mandatory. 6. Facilitates project handover and maintenance. The requirements traceability matrix helps future teams understand why certain features were built, aiding in upgrades and maintenance. How can a poor requirements traceability matrix produced harm the requirements gathering process? A poorly constructed or neglected requirements traceability matrix can significantly harm the requirements gathering process and lead to project failures, misalignment, and costly rework. See how the requirements traceability matrix can harm the requirements gathering process. 1. Misalignment with stakeholder needs. If requirements are not properly traced back to their source, whether through stakeholder interviews or business objectives, the team may develop the wrong features. As a result, the solutions delivered do not meet the actual needs, leading to rejection by users or stakeholders. 2. Scope creep and uncontrolled changes. Without traceability, new requests or changes can't be properly assessed for impact. As a result, unapproved changes slip into the project. causing budget overruns, delays, and scope creep. 3. Incomplete or missing requirements. A weak requirements traceability matrix fails to ensure all requirements are accounted for in design, development, and testing. As a result, critical features are overlooked, leading to last-minute fixes or project failure. 4. Poor testing and quality issues. If test cases aren't linked to requirements, some may go untested. As a result, defects reach production, increasing post-release bugs, security risks, and user dissatisfaction. 5. Difficulty in impact analysis. When a requirement changes, a poor requirements traceability matrix makes it hard to determine which deliverables, tests, or code are affected. As a result, teams waste time manually tracking dependencies or introduce errors due to oversight. 6. Compliance and audit failures. In regulated industries, such as healthcare and finance, lack of traceability means failure to prove requirement fulfillment. As a result, we may have legal penalties, failed audits, or rejected product submissions. 7. Communication breakdowns and stakeholder distrust. Stakeholders can't see how their needs translate into deliverables. As a result, we may have loss of confidence in the project team, increased disputes, and resistance to sign-offs. 8. Higher rework and wasted effort. Without traceability, teams may build unnecessary features or miss dependencies. As a result, we may have expensive rework, wasted resources, and delayed timelines. 9. Challenges in project handover and maintenance. Future teams can't understand why certain decisions were made. As a result, we may have difficulties in upgrading, maintaining, or scaling the product. In conclusion, the requirements traceability matrix is a vital tool for ensuring alignment, quality, and control in requirements management. While its formality varies by methodology, neglecting it can lead to misalignment, rework, and project failure. Finishing this video, we will have in the next videos. 1. Creation of WBS for different projects using WBS Schedule Pro. 2. Examples of project plans using MS Project. And many other videos. Don't forget to give a thumbs up if you like this video and want us to continue with new topics. Subscribe to the channel. All content is free. You can also comment suggesting topics you would like to see on this channel. Thank you.